Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna be a little bit of a less conventional video, kind of, sort of. I am going to the Bridgerton experience in about 2 weeks because I'm going to California for my internship this summer. Although I am going to wear my sister's old prom dress that she never wore. It's couture. Cost about $600 and she never wore it, but that's okay. I'm gonna get use out of it. Although I do have that dress and I am going to wear that dress to the Bridgerton experience, I still want to make a Bridgerton inspired dress because I'm extra. Something that I've never ever mentioned on this channel is that sewing is actually one of my main hobbies. It's been a hobby of mine since I was 11. And another thing that I've never mentioned on this channel is the fact that I have a small business where I sew satin scrunchies, bonnets, pillowcases, satin eye masks for when you're sleeping, and a ton of stuff. I sew a ton of things, okay? I make them by hand and I sell them online. And if you'd like to buy anything, my website is itscourt.weebly.com. For the purposes of today's video, this is the dress that I'm going to be attempting to make. I am going to be trying to do the bodice today. I don't have a pattern. Normally if I don't have a pattern, I will draft them. I've been very into drafting patterns lately. I drafted the pattern for my sister's prom dress. I've drafted patterns for my own dresses and stuff like that. And usually if I can't find a pattern for free because I'm cheap and don't like spending money, I will just draft a pattern. For this, I was unable to find any pattern drafting tutorials for what I want to do with this specific dress. So we're going to try copying a pattern from a bra that I really, really like. I have this little sports bra from when I ran cross country in high school. I just really like the framing of the front part. It matches the style of the dress that I want to make. So I want to go with this for sure. And then the only thing that's not right about this is the back. It's a razor back, so that's not what I was looking for. But I can definitely copy the front, and then I'm probably just going to alter how the straps are and alter the back. And so I'm gonna draft that. I have literally like 5 yards of muslin to just run through. So I just wanted to narrate a little bit to explain what I'm doing. So here I've basically just taken my top, folded it in half, and then I just kind of traced around it to find my center points where my straps were, and then I just kind of moved the straps about an inch to where I wanted them to be, to kind of match the style that I was trying to get out of this top. And then you just do the front and the back sides, and then I did go back and add about, I think, an inch or an inch and a half of length to the back of the bodice, just so it would fit more comfortably and so it could overlap. Okay, so now we have our 2 back pieces and our front piece for our bodice. Basically, all that I'm going to do is pin the side seams and then sew them. I'm not going to sew the seams for the straps just because I want to leave those open so I know whether or not I need to adjust my pattern at all in that particular area. And then you'll notice here as well that these back portions here overlap. It's like that because when I make my actual dress, I want to put a button there so that way the back can connect like that. I don't want to use a zipper just because I hate putting in zippers. Buttons are much easier for me, so that's why we're going to use a button. Other than that, yeah, I'm just going to pin these, sew it, and then we'll come right back. So right off the bat, things that I'm noticing, one, the straps are not long enough. They're too thick, and they need to be moved. So I'm going to draft a pattern with some revisions to it to fix this because it's not going to work. But everything else is fine. It's pretty much just fixing the straps. Okay, so we are back. It's a couple days later. I took a little break. Sorry if the lighting is bad. I have yellow lights. There's lights on in the background. That's probably why it's low quality. Sorry. But yeah, so this is basically where I'm at now. I've fixed the bodice top so the straps are in a little bit of better place. I honestly might take some off of the sides. I'll have to fix the pattern for that. Other than that, I think I've pretty much gotten this shape right. I'm going to lengthen this part of the bodice so that way there's more space for me to attach the skirt when the time comes for that. I'm leaving the back open like this because I'm going to do buttons instead of a zipper. It's just gonna be easier for me. It's either gonna be buttons or something lace up. But either way, I think we've pretty much got the bodice figured out for the most side. So I'm going to take measurements for the darts and sew them really quickly to make sure that I like how it looks. And then yeah, that should be it for the bodice, and then we can actually start constructing the dress. I wanted to do a close-up of my darts. They're each 2 inches here, and then there's space so that way from my center front line there's 2 inches, and then it'll be 2 inches, then it's folded over 1 inch. I also have darts here in the armpit. It puckered a little bit, or not necessarily puckered, but it wasn't tight enough in the armpit, so that's why I added the darts here. And there's another one over here. I'm definitely gonna have to use a shorter stitch length when I actually end up sewing this, because my darts are puckering a little bit at the ends, and I just looked up something online that said that my darts could be too short, but I'm first gonna try actually stitching it all the way to the ends, because right now I'm using a basting length, which is literally the longest length on my sewing machine, so I think I could probably fix it if I use a tighter stitch. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just extend my darts. But yeah, that's basically how much we've got done so far. I'm gonna go to the fabric store tomorrow. I have to wake up early at 10 a.m. to go to the stroke study, and then we'll go to the fabric store and get our fabric. So yeah, I went to the fabric store yesterday to pick up fabric for my dress. So I picked up a few things. I'm going to show you what I got. I got this overlay fabric, which this is literally all they had left of this fabric. It's 2.5 yards. So initially I was thinking, you know, that I would use something like this to go on my bodice and over my skirt to match my design. But I only have 2.5 yards, and I realized that if I was going to put it on my bodice, I would have to put it over my sleeves as well, which I just don't have enough fabric for that. So I'm going to use this fabric to put on my skirt, and if I have enough left after I make this skirt, then maybe I'll use it for my bodice and sleeves if I have enough fabric. But just thinking about it logistically, I probably won't have enough fabric to do that. So this is probably only going to go on my skirt, which I know is kind of sad. It's not what I was planning for, but we're gonna make it work. This fabric, which I was initially going to just use as a lining, it's not like super soft or anything. It's kind of the same feel and fabric type as that overlay. So what I've decided to do with this is maybe I'll use it as a lining, but I'm also going to use it as my bodice. So this will go over my satin fabric for my bodice as well as my sleeves. So that's what I'm going to be using this for. I got this really nice tulle. It's a little stretchy. I honestly don't know if it's tulle. I think it's mesh. I don't know. I've never worked with tulle before. So I got what I think is tulle. I'm pretty sure this looks like mesh to me. I honestly don't know. I could not tell you the difference between a tulle and a mesh. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna make it work. It's fine, whatever. It's literally just for layering and making some dimension in the dress with color and tones. If you might notice, all of these purples are different shades, which I did on purpose. My satin fabric is a very light purple, and I just wanted to make sure that there was some dimension in the dress. I don't mind that the purples are different colors. I'm kind of doing that purposefully. So that's that. Then in addition to that, I got a zipper in case I decide that I want to do a zipper. That's really the only reason why I got it. But what I'm most excited about is these really pretty buttons, which I don't know if you guys can see this, but they're really nice. They're like iridescent kind of, but they're really pretty. They're a shade of purple themselves. I'm gonna do one more change to my bodice, and then we're going to use actual stitches that I want to use when I sew it up this time. And then we'll figure out how to get these darts to stop freaking puckering. But yeah, this is where we're at so far with our current bodice mock-up. What I don't particularly like about this mock-up is that in the back, it's gonna be kind of hard to see because I don't actually have any attachments for the back piece right now. But in the back, when these pieces overlay in the back, they don't make like a nice low U-shaped back. They kind of like come and then cross like this, which isn't really what I wanted. I want it to be a U shape when they come together. So yeah, that's going to be the change that I make to this bodice piece, is changing that so that way there's a U shape there. I'm going to still add the extra 1 inch of fabric on the bottom of my bust. I might even make it 1.5 inches at this point, honestly. I might have to make it 1.5 inches. But I think that where I'm at right now with adding that inch was a good option, a good decision on my part. But yeah, I think that's just what I'm going to have to do. I'm gonna have to make my darts longer, probably is what it is seeming like. I don't know how long to make my darts. I think that's also an issue that I have to figure out. There's just a lot of things. Oh, there's so many things to figure out. Quick update. I just added on the new pieces for the back and everything looks good. It looks how I want it to. So I'm just going to play around with these front pieces with these darts. I'm going to see if I can get them to be fixed. I'm gonna try doing smaller stitches first, then I'm going to try lengthening the darts, and then after that I will look into maybe cutting pieces and sewing them together. I apologize if you can see the mess in the back. I don't know if I already mentioned that I'm moving in a few months, so I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm buying or bought for my apartment in the back. This is kind of where the top is at now. I had tried to cut out the darts on the armpit and just try to close that up, but it kept puckering. Like, I can tell the fabric wants a dart there, so I just created a dart. This looks a lot better than that other mock-up. This is my finished bodice mock-up. I've added the flutter sleeves. Everything looks good. I will say that the placement of the sleeves on the front of the bodice is a little bit weird. It's a little bit more forward than I probably would have liked, but I'm too lazy to change it. At this point, this is my 5th mock-up, at least for this portion of the bodice, so I'm not about to go back to the drawing board with that. But this is the front, this is the back. I was able to see a little bit more of the overlap. It's probably a little crooked because, well, I'm one person and I can't see anything behind me. But yes, that's the back. But I think that everything looks really good so far. Once I attach the skirt, it'll look even better. So as far as I'm concerned, this is done. I think the overlap is pretty good. So I'm not going to add 3 inches. Instead, I'm probably going to just add 1 inch of overlap just for that. But other than that, we're done. So I'm going to take this whole bodice piece apart, mark my darts so that way I know what I'm doing when I get to my actual fabric. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to get going. Okay, so I'm not taking a ton of videos because I'm trying to finish this dress as quickly as possible. But what I've done so far is basically cut out all the pieces for my bodice. So I have my lining here. I have a layer of satin and then a layer of tulle and then a final layer of, I don't really know what you could call it. It's just, I don't want to call it a mesh. It's also not an overlay. It's just like a see-through, like sheer fabric that I have on top. So there's 3 layers, one for my front pieces and then my 2 back pieces, and then again my lining piece. Before I move on with actually sewing my bodice and the lining together, I want to go ahead and start on the skirt so I can see if I'm going to have any fabric left over, because if I do, then I'm going to add some of my like really pretty overlay, also sheer fabric, the one that has the cute designs on it from earlier. I'm gonna add that onto the top of this bodice as well if I have fabric left over. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this skirt, and then we'll see if I have any fabric left over to add to this. All right, this is my last update for the day because it's about 3 a.m. But I've made my whole bodice. I ended up having enough fabric to add this to my bodice. So this is flutter sleeves, whole bodice, flipping it over to the back. This is the inside. I'm probably going to end up cleaning up these little edges in the sleeves eventually. Not right now though because I'm tired. And then this is not going to end up being attached to the dress, but this portion will get attached to the dress. I already tried it on, and everything fits really nicely. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I'm very happy with how this bodice has turned out, and I'm expecting good things from this dress. I'm excited. You know, I have not been recording everything. My room is a mess. I have fabric literally everywhere, but I want to show you guys my progress thus far today. So all I've really done today is cut out my pieces for the skirt, and I've tacked them all together except for the top piece, which I'm going to layer on afterwards because I want to make sure that I like how this looks. But yeah, I mean, it looks nice. I'm hoping that it's enough fabric. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's enough fabric. We'll see. But this is pretty much what it's looking like. I have a layer of satin on the bottom, 2 layers of tulle here, and then a top layer of just some see-through fabric, which honestly is a little bit too short, but I don't really care. That's where I wanted it. I didn't want my top layer to just be on top of the tulle. I would have had a longer piece of this to use, but I ended up messing up 2 of the pieces on my bodice. Had to recut those last night before I sewed it up. But yeah, this is where we're at. I'm about to sew all these pieces together so that I can look at it on myself, see how I want to position that top layer of fabric, cut it to like proper angles and stuff, but I wanted to make sure that I could fit that on my body before I do anything else. So that is where I'm at. The day I'm declaring as being the final day of this project, I have the dress here in this tiny little tote bag that I have, and I have the bodice attached to the skirt now. Where's my bodice side? Here we go. I have the bodice attached to the skirt now. You guys probably cannot see. I'm just gonna try to lift it up. Yeah, instead of buttons, I know I planned on doing buttons, but the zipper, time-wise is going to be a lot faster. And I need to pack because I'm leaving in 3 days. I'm leaving in 3 days. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the edge that it's attached with. So I'm just gonna finish that off with my serger, and then we'll apply the zipper. And yeah, we'll be getting on with the things. Okay, so it is about 10 p.m. and I am officially done with this dress. I ended up changing my design a little bit. In the original design, I had a bow in the back, and I decided to do the bow in the front. So although this dress is completely done, it's a little bit different from my design, but I'm happy with it. I like it, and I think it looks great. So I will show it to you guys now. That is it. I don't think I'm going to do gloves. I think I like the dress as is. So yeah, that is all. Thank you guys so much for coming with me on this journey and making this dress. And I will see you all in the next one.